So I had a guy contact me, LD, and he was showing me some pictures and newspaper articles of some amazing things, out of place archaeology stuff that's been found. And LD, tell us a little bit about this. Start us off from the beginning, how you learned about these.
Okay, well, I was about 17 years old, and a friend of mine brought one of these heads to school. And I asked him where he got it, and he said his father and his aunt had found these artifacts up in Colorado. And so the head was really unusual. And so my friend, he finally died a few years ago, and his wife contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in buying his collection. And so I said, sure, and I went by. And she had boxes and boxes and boxes of points and everything. And I told her, I said, well, I have all of that, the regular old points like they had in the boxes. And I wasn't interested in that. And I asked her, I said, well, what about the stuff from the cave? And she said, well, I hadn't seen that stuff in 30 years. Says it's in the closet, and it's way too heavy for me to get out of the closet. You'll have to get in there and get them. So I got in the closet and drug these boxes out. They were banana boxes, big, about 3 foot long and deep, and every one of them was filled up with pots, artifacts, bowls, tablets, and all the pots, everything that the pots had artifacts in them, and stuff like cornmeal and all that stuff. And then we have the corn cobs that are really unusual and long. And I mean, it was a heck of a collection, so I went ahead and bought it from her. And so it took me about 3 weeks to go through those boxes after I got them home. I was so just amazed at what they had hauled home out of those caves. And I have documentation of this. I'll show it to you here in a minute, this newspaper clipping where she's talking about all this. And they came from the west slope of the Rocky Mountains. And so I've had them to several artifact shows, and everywhere I go to the artifact shows, the big authenticators and everything, they always say, oh, this stuff is fake. It's too good, it's too pristine to be true, you know. But I'm telling you, when you see these tablets and all these pots and everything that came out of the pots, you'll be amazed too at how beautiful this work, it's work of art is what it actually is. It's just art. And but everybody says that it couldn't be real, but it is, in my opinion. And Daryl, when they told me about this when I was in high school, you know, he had no reason to lie to me about any of that, about finding it. And we, like I said, I have a newspaper clipping where that they donated some of this stuff that came out of that cave to the Denver Museum and to the Peabody Museum.
And so if anybody, man, is near the Denver Museum or the Peabody Museum, if you can track this stuff down for us, you know, we'll have the newspaper article here so you can see about the date, the names, and try and track this down and see what all this other stuff looks like, because this is incredible looking stuff.
That's right. It'd be a help if we could. Like I said, I called them and talked to them, but they do not have any information on any of this since it's so old. And they said, well, it's more than likely in the basement, stored away, and no one will probably ever see it again. But I've been always curious about it and wanted to go up there and check it out, but finding time to get away and take off from my work and everything, I just haven't ever done it.
So what is the story that you was told of how they found it?
Well, the story goes that it took them 3 years to haul all this stuff home. And I'm assuming that every time they went deer hunting, they'd load up a carload or a truckload and bring it home.
Did they say anything about this was a burial or anything? Did they find any human remains or?
They never said anything about anything like that.
Only just these artifacts.
Right. That it was just, this is what was in the cave. And then it took them 3 years to bring it all out. So.
And then you're saying that they got spooked, or they felt they was. Tell me about that.
His dad, Daryl said his dad got all spooked one time and hauled a bunch of this stuff back to the cave and put it back in it.
Because he felt he was being haunted or cursed because he had it, or did he say what happened or anything? Or
no, he just was having bad luck, he said.
So he took most of it back and hid it?
Put it back in it, he said.
And you ended up maybe with a map of where this was at or something, and you thinking of mounting an expedition to see what's there, to see, or you don't want to say that?
It would be interesting to, I think it could be found because it gives a pretty good description. And they'd been hunting up there for years and years. It's a lot of history behind all of this, and you see what it is. Everybody says it's fake. It's too pristine. But you got to remember, this stuff was all stored, and it was all in these pots when they found them. And to the day he died, they were in a closet for about 30 years. And then I got a hold of them and separated them, and I've hauled them to artifact shows and stuff like that. And like I said, all of this stuff in here, in these cases right here, is what has come out of that collection. And then we have the 3 tablets on the floor here that's got all the graffiti on it, and the artwork is amazing. And you just have to let him photograph this and show you what it is.
So, you said that people are telling you that it's fake, it's modern, it's not real, it's not like anything the Native Americans would do. And also these arrow points that are made out of, I believe, walrus tusks or
Bones.
Uh-huh. Okay. But anyway, so you're not new to this stuff. I mean, you have been collecting this stuff, studying it, researching it for all your life. Huh?
Right. Ever since I was 15. And I'm 78 now. This January, if I live that long, I hope to hunt more arrowheads.
So you've gone down into old Mexico, you've gone, all over the place, and
right.
And so let me ask you this: can you tell a freshly napped one, a modern one, versus an old one?
Well, the feel is basically it, and then you have to know the flaking and everything, because these Indians, the modern nappers, have their own technique, but the Folsom and the Clovis and all of those ancient points, they had a special style of napping, even on the fluting and everything. There's just, and you can look around, there's a few of them laying around here. This is just a few of them. I have boxes and boxes and boxes of them that I probably won't see again in my lifetime. I'm too lazy to take them out and fool with them. They're too heavy. But like I said, if there's anything anyone knows on this stuff, I'm game to learn more about it.
If this was a tribe, somebody's had to see something like this somewhere else, I'm thinking, so yeah, if anybody's seen anything like this or knows anything like that, man, help us out.
Right. Well, I've had them in several museums and everything, and there's just no knowledge on them and where they came from, and the newspaper states a lot about it, where they found them and what they thought they were, and and the people have actually found them, and they have them, and like I said, he was really proud of those points and stuff. And when he died, his wife, she just didn't care a whole lot about it. And of course, she needed the money too.
Yeah.
And so I was real interested in purchasing them, and I did. But I'd like to show you some more of it, some of the pots and things.
Okay.
And what's in them?
Let's see them.
Okay.
So back to the pots. There's stuff in the pots.
Yes.
So, you know, somehow, some way, we could probably do some carbon dating, some testing on some stuff to try and figure out an age. Of course, that doesn't mean what's in the pot was really in it when it was found, but we're going to get a hold of more scientific people to figure this mystery out.
Right. You can do it.
Cool.
I've ran into one fella that knew anything about one of them, and I'm going to show you this head. I'm going to get it out now. It's over here. This is the Jaguar. It's really heavy.
And what did he say about it?
He said it was a common symbol in old Mexico.
Oh, really?
And down in Central America.
But you don't see stuff like this in old Mexico. Have you ever seen anything like this in old Mexico, this stuff here?
No, I've never seen anything like the tablets anywhere.
But this was found in the cave with it.
These all come out of the west slope of the Rockies.
And that's the one that your friend brought to school.
When I was 17.
And that's what got you interested and excited about doing this, collecting and hunting for this stuff anyway in the first place.
Well, we'd been hunting them all along, but not this kind of stuff, just the common arrowheads and things. That's what we've been finding ever since the 50s. And it has stuff in it too. Let's see what's in this.
Oh, really? Oh, it's got a lid.
Yeah. And everything had stuff in it. This has got something down in it that's dried up. And now here's one of them. Here's another one.
That one's kind of got the design broke off of it, huh?
Right, it's a little dinged up. But to be that old and hanging around with the old people we have on these tablets, I guess you'd be dinged too.
See that?
Now this one has hair in it, and I'm not sure it's human hair, but it looks more like human hair than, and I suppose it's just little ringlets.
And it's some type of an oil lamp or something too, huh?
Yes, it's another oil lamp. 3 different kinds. Does that look kind of familiar?
Yeah. 180.
It's broken. I have
Oh, okay.
I have the other pieces in a bag right here.
Oh. Lift your eye up a little bit.
That's what you get for handling this stuff so many times. They're very
cool.
delicate.
Okay. And it goes on that pot there.
Something's in it. Let's see what's in it. Full of stuff.
Oh, man.
I don't even remember what was in it. Arrowheads.
And those were in the pot?
Yeah.
So, do these arrowheads look familiar to as the type of Native Americans? Do they look like
They look good.
Do they look like a specific group of anything you've noticed before or seen before?
That's a nice odd one. It's like a knife.
Yeah.
For surgery. Looks like a tang knife. There's another half of one of those.
Have you ever seen anyone like that before?
Yeah, I've seen them before.
Oh.
And that's kind of like this. This looks more like a Texas point.
Huh.
Pretty points. But that's what I mean.
Everything's kind of mixed. You got these... Huh.
Got these weird little things. But that's what I was telling you. Every pot had a item
in it.
full of stuff. It's really quality work.
To glaze it like that, they have to rub it.
Rub it, yes. After it dries.
Do you find Native American ones glazed like that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But not, I've never found any that was detailed like these.
Yeah.
These are delicate. I hate handling them like that. That's a double pot. And it's got the same symbols on the end, the moon and the star and the morning sun. And it looks like cactus. But who knows?
So you didn't put that stuff in it. That stuff was already in
this
there.
It's already in it. Little sticks.
Huh.
No, now it's different on this end. See?
Yeah.
It's like cornmeal on that end.
Huh.
See, that could all be dated right here.
Yeah.
See, some of this stuff here is out of that.
Oh.
The bones.
Yeah.
That was a comb. And some of these bone points.
Yeah.
This was the broken stuff that didn't live through it. Okay. This is the very first pot that was mentioned in this newspaper article that she found. And this is the guy that's on the tablets, and he's ceremonial killed too. The horns have been knocked off.
Ah.
It's got some good features though.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops.
So it just got the horns, got some other stuff
I'm
in
not
it?
sure what else is in that.
All right. Cool.
No, it's got artifacts in it too. Feels like little arrowheads and things.
All right. More arrowheads in it.
Probably. Yeah. The little black and white bowl, and it's been ceremonial killed.
So that's that hole in it there.
Right.
And this was found in the same
place.
But this doesn't look the same culture, but it was in the same place.
That's right.
So they had trade with the Anasazi's or something, or found something, huh?
Right. This is the hermaphrodite. It's got both sexes, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 breasts. And then it has the morning star symbol at the top, and the moon, the sun at the left. And then all the intricate work around the edges on the pattern of that. And all the little moon symbols. It's hard to define it unless you can see it in person.
Really?
It was ceremonial killed. That's why it's broke up.
So what does that mean for those that don't know?
Well, they wanted to let the spirit go out of it.
And so they'd purposely poke a hole in it. They'd do it in this. They'd do it in pots. They'd do it in...
Yes, the pots, and they'd even break to some of the tools and everything to let the spirit out.
Okay.
All right, this one here has got the picture of the hermaphrodites on it, and the guy or it there holding that spear, his head is on one of these pots that I'm going to show you after a while. And that was the very first thing that woman found, was that pot with his head on it, or her head on it. And it's got an eagle in the middle, and below it on a slab is a body. And the eagle is either coming to take the spirit or to do something with this body. And over on the right over here, this one over here is holding this bird on a litter above her head, or his head. And I'll show you that bird again later on one of these pots. And the leaves, and the little morning sun, and the stars, and all these patterns on this thing. It's just really out of this world. And that eagle represents something there about the spirit.
Geez, that almost looks like some type of an Egyptian-looking tomb thing. You know, that guy laying on the slab. I never seen anything like this. No, they don't look. These guys don't look Egyptian.
No,
they look more like with the horns and that. They look more Viking or.
Right. It's anybody's guess. Okay, this is the reverse side of the tablets with the hermaphrodite on it, and that is either the sun symbol, and if you'll look on the edges, all the grape leaves, how pristine they are and how perfect. They were stamped into that clay. And all the way around these symbols are designs, and they could be a type of a calendar. And I'm not sure, that's just only my idea. So like I said, we need some expertise on this thing.
Tell me about these bone points.
These points here were in pots, and I never did count all of them to see, but there's more of them that's not in those frames, but they're all bone, and we have several frames of them. But look at the intricate work on those things. One of them has a morning star on it.
And then these necklaces out of...
That's a necklace, and it's little animal feet. It looks like probably squirrels' feet.
And they was in the pots
and
too?
They were in the pots. And that little frame of arrowheads, did you already get it? Every pot had artifacts in it, or some kind of something in it. Now these are the Thunderbirds, and the little arrow points and drills, and a little arm there with all the fingers. And these were all in pots.
Now that's interesting. That has 6 fingers. How many fingers does she have?
1, 2.
Just 4 and probably a thumb hidden, huh? Okay.
Right.
So this pot right here, it had stuff inside these pots then?
Yes, those big arrowheads or the big bone tools were in it.
In this pot right here.
That's a double-headed dog or a mouse.
And this looks like that prairie chicken.
That one there is the one that's on the the woman's holding on the scalpel above her head.
So this was obviously some type of a burial, and this represents the people that were buried there, maybe?
This could be the harpoon here.
And this was found in the cave.
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
So, and that one has a cord on it like it's for fishing or for, I mean, throwing it at rabbits or something so they could retrieve it quick or something, huh?
Yep. It's probably about a 25-foot cord or maybe longer.
And then it's got that little tail on that. I wonder what that tail was for right there. Lift that up all the way so that tail hangs. It's like I wonder what kind of hair that is.
Probably horsehair. Or yucca fiber.
Yeah, but depending on how old these are, man, did they have horses?
We
need to find out what kind of hair that is.
Yeah,
we need to check this out.
Yeah, I'm going to bet you almost it's going to be yucca fiber.
Huh.
You know, because you can beat that stuff out and it just like string.
We should be able to test this stuff. I'm going to get some money together and figure this out.
Right.
Man, I appreciate this, LD. I'm glad you're sharing it. You know, if you hadn't shared it, nobody would know about this, and it would be another hidden mystery that's lost to the ages, you know? So, and with that said, LD, thank you, and that's a wrap.
Oh.